This morning we're going to have a press conference to discuss the results of some pretty good police work. The work was based on some tips that we received, and those tips led to the confiscation and recovery of some of the weapons that were stolen from the gun show at the Civic Center just a couple of weeks ago. And I think Chief Dixon has a lot of detail to share with you about that. I know that after the incident, I was contacted by several people, both media and otherwise, concerned about what had happened and about precautions that we would take in future events, and we are in the process of establishing a new protocol for these types of events in the future. But I think what we'll be discussing this morning is the results of some pretty good police work based on information that we received through Crime Stoppers, and I want to thank those individuals who did use that process. I want to thank them for their interest in informing us about what is going on, and I want to emphasize the importance of that to those people here, not only in the room here this morning, but also to our citizens at large, people in the community, to understand that Crime Stoppers is a very effective program.
Yesterday, as a result of two separate tips, one of them was a Crime Stoppers tip giving us an address of 518 Fournette Street, advising that there were possibly weapons there that were buried, that were stolen from the gun show January 17th, January 18th of this year. In addition to that, we received some separate information. Lieutenant T.J. Bell received a separate phone call advising that a stolen dirt bike was also possibly located at 518 Fournette Street. As a result of this information, uniformed police officers, along with Sergeant Milner, who is assigned to our Project Safe Neighborhood Task Force with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, who is the lead investigator on the theft of the firearms, went to the residence. In plain view at 518 Fournette Street was a dirt bike. The mother of a juvenile, which I'll get into later, was there. Her name is Stacy Lamb, and pointed out the dirt bike that her juvenile son had bought home the previous day. A run of the serial number indicated it was stolen from Harlow's on Hodges Street Sunday night, early Monday morning, this past Sunday. In addition to that, she gave us a permission to search, at which time went into the residence and found, the first thing that we found was this bag with wires in it and this computer in this bag. A run of the serial number discovered that this computer was stolen from the Civic Center the same night as the guns were missing. At that point in time, the officers stopped the search, went and typed up a search warrant to conduct a further thorough search of the house and vehicles and the yard that were located at 518 Fournette Street. After the search warrant affidavit was typed up and signed, officers, along with myself, went back to the resident a little bit after lunch and continued the search. As a result of the search, 7 weapons were recovered. 2 of the weapons, these 2 assault weapons, were found in the house in a back storage type area. The 5 handguns were found in a van that was parked at the yard with the battery cables disengaged, and it was locked. As a result of this, we recovered also additional items which we believe are stolen and have not been able to identify based upon there was no serial numbers or whatever. Investigation had determined that the juvenile we feel responsible for this is on juvenile probation for an incident that happened July of '07 at Cash America Pawn Shop, in which received a media coverage because we had a surveillance film, picked it up where this juvenile, along with 2 additional juveniles, reached across the counter and stole 2 handguns. As a result of that investigation, this juvenile was identified and both handguns were recovered. One of them was actually in the same van that we recovered the 5 handguns in yesterday, which is the father of the juvenile. The father of the juvenile 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, led us to that gun after first denying knowing where it was. Additionally, in questioning the parents yesterday, the mother basically said, yeah, she was aware that this computer was brought into the house, and yeah, she was aware of the dirt bike. She disavowed any knowledge of the handguns. And this is her 15-year-old son who was on probation for theft of guns from a pawn shop, and her answer was basically, she didn't question him about it, that's his business. Well, that was the wrong answer. She was arrested. I expect a parent, if you don't want to be responsible, we're going to hold you accountable. If your 15-year-old son walks into your house with a bag full of cut wires and a laptop computer, there should be some dialogue between you and that son. Something like, son, did you bet on the Lakers last night? Or, son, is this part of the new stimulus package? There should be some type of dialogue. When you say to me, that's his business, wrong answer, you go to jail. She's in jail. The father, who is the same father, a year and a half ago, had the stolen gun from the pawn shop in his van, had the 5 stolen handguns in his van. He don't know nothing about nothing. Wrong answer, he's in jail. All right? So, if you're going to have a child, you don't want to be responsible for them, you're going to be held accountable for them. If we catch stolen merchandise in your house, and you have a juvenile in that house, we're going to hold you accountable. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Bottom line. So for those parents out there who are listening, if you have a son or daughter, and they have in their house, in their bedroom, an iPod, a cell phone, computers, something that they can't account for, we expect you to call us. Because if we get the information and we go to a search warrant and we find that stolen merchandise in your house, you're going to jail. Possession of stolen property. End of story. Every day I come in and I read our dailies, and every day we have something to do with juveniles. High-speed chases, breaking in cars. Sick and tired of it. These are not parents of the year. All right, so under arrest is Chris Barty. Under arrest is Stacy Lamb. In addition to that, we had an individual named David Barty come in who voluntarily came in and confessed to being part of the theft of the 3 dirt bikes that took place at Harlow's on Monday morning. 2 of those dirt bikes have been recovered. He confessed to being part of those thefts along with relatives of his, juveniles. So he's also under arrest. Investigation is continuing. The good news is we have 7 guns taken off the street. Obviously, we're happy about that. The bad news is we have 18 guns still missing. We have a detailed list of the make, model, and serial numbers of these additional 18 guns, which we will give to the media. I wish you would publish those. So if there's anybody out there, pawn shop dealer, gun dealer, citizen on the street, that has obtained one of these weapons, we ask you to come bring it in, or call Crime Stoppers 439-2222, or call the Lake Charles Police Department 491-1311 and ask for the Detective Division. We expect you to come in with those weapons. If you had any dealings with any resident of 518 Fournette Street, if you received any type of property, whether it be a weapon, generator, dirt bike, doesn't matter, we expect you to call us and bring it in. All right. The bond on Stacy Lamb is $25,000. Bond on Chris Barty is $100,000, and I'm not sure what the bond on him is.
I don't think it's been said. Hasn't been said.
Hasn't been set yet. Okay. If you'll go back now to the
Go back to the
make, model, and serial numbers. Now, you do this 37 years, you kind of get a thick skin and take things for, a grain of salt, and you just don't let a whole thing bother you. But sit there yesterday and go to that house, and first thing I see is a 12-year-old who 2 years ago as a 10-year-old was the lookout for his brother during the theft of the pawn shop, who's supposed to be in school, is not in school. Why aren't you in school, son? I missed the bus. I missed the bus. All right? He's got scars all over his face. What happened to you? I fell off the stolen dirt bike. All right? It's just, enough is enough. Enough is enough. If you're a parent, you need to have responsibility. If you're not going to have that responsibility, we're going to hold you accountable. End of story. Enough is enough. It starts at the home. We hear all about discipline problems in school. We hear about this. We hear about that. You know what? The bottom line is it starts at the home. We're going to hold you responsible. We're going to hold you accountable. If you don't have a good answer why your son or daughter has stolen merchandise in your house, we're hooking you up, going to jail.